Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rachel and I am knitting. Not right now, but most of the time. And I have been knitting, so I'm going to tell you all about it. Today's video is episode 56 of my weekly podcast series, which is a series where I tell you all about the projects I've been working on, the yarn or fiber or other things I've acquired, things I've been thinking about, patterns that have been speaking to me, yada, 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 over the course of the week prior. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure that you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss future podcast episodes. Okay, hello, how are you? I hope you're doing so well. I'm doing great. I brewed a pot of coffee this morning, which is not something I've done in a while because I've had this stock of K-cups for my Keurig and I'm running low on them, so I decided to have some whole bean coffee instead and be a little bit more, what's the word? Lower impact. You know, like K-cups are really bad for the environment. So anyway, I brewed a pot, not a cup, a pot of coffee today, and I'm on my first cup. My mug has me in my regalia on it, so anyway, all that to say, I'm having a great morning. I'm wired. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to yap. I'm ready to talk about my projects. And I hope you're ready to listen. If not, turn this off. Go do something else. Have fun. Enjoy your day. Doesn't have to be doing this. But if you're still here, if you haven't turned off the video, thanks. Okay, anyway, let's get started. So, this podcast episode goes over June, no. Oh my Lord, July. July. Goes over July 7th through yesterday, July 13th. What a mess that was. Sorry. Let's rewind. You don't see this in the final product, but when something like this happens, I just sit here for a minute and I think about my choices and I think about do do I want to start over? That's a lot of work. Do I keep going? That's kind of embarrassing. So really, a rock, a hard place, and then there's me in betwixt the two. Yeah. Anyway, we'll just keep going. So we'll start with project updates, which I will accurately say take place from July 7th through yesterday, July 13th. Okay, it is no longer June. It's July. So I have 3 projects to update you on, just like I did last week, except they're not the same projects. Well, there's some overlap, but I'll just give you a spoiler alert. I didn't work on the bird last week. I really need to though, so today I'm going to set a 10-minute timer and I'm going to whittle, not whittle, because someone pointed out that could be confused as peeing. And that's not happening here. Whittle with a whittling knife this bird. Didn't have any progress on that. I know a lot of you are invested in that bird. If you're new here, the bird is an anniversary gift for DJ because our 5th wedding anniversary is coming up. Anyway, I didn't work on the bird this week, okay? I'm sorry. But I did work on a few other things, and I'm just getting it out of my project bag. The first thing that I'll show you that I worked on in terms of knitting or crochet, really a big part of what I worked on this last week has to do with spinning in honor of Tour de Fleece, but I did other things besides spinning as well. The first is I started a granny square pillow sham for this pillow form, which is currently boring and has nothing exciting on it, no granny square pillow sham. But there will be a granny square pillow sham on that pillow form shortly. But another spoiler alert, it's not going to be this. So this is being worked up with 3 colors from the Little Wolf Knits Italia collection, which is actually currently available for pre-order. There's an affiliate link in the video description if you're interested. This is Bougainvillea, Skinny Dipping, and Limoncello. So I'm using these 3 for the Granny Square Pillow Sham. However, after working up a few rows, there are some things that I want to change. First of all, I hated the hook I was using. I don't even remember what size it was, but I remember which one in my hook collection it is, and I will not be using it. I will be probably going down a hook size just to have a bit of a firmer, more structured granny square. And I decided that what I want to do, I really want this like tealy petrol blue green to be the star, the showrunner of this granny square pillow sham. So I'm going to, I think, do 2 or 3 rounds. No, what was I gonna do? Either 2 or 3 rounds of the skinny dipping before I do the yellow or the pink. Oh no, I remember what I was going to do. I'm going to do a row of skinny dipping in between each row. So there will be skinny dipping, then bougainvillea, then skinny dipping, then limoncello, then skinny dipping, then bougainvillea. So we'll go back and forth. So that way, whew, almost dropped it. That way, skinny dipping will be the main event. It will be the eye-catching color of the granny square, because right now it's all kind of like, I think the yellow is mostly grabbing the attention, which it's a beautiful color, but I really want the focal point to be skinny dipping. So that's the update on the granny square pillow sham. But I really do like those colorways worked up together. And actually, as I was making this, I couldn't help but think, how cute would a knit teddy bear be with skinny dipping as the main color, but bougainvillea as like the pads of its foot and hands, and maybe like the nose. So cute. It would also be so cute with limoncello. So who knows? I may pivot again and make a teddy bear, because I think that would be just the cutest. But nevertheless, that's a project I worked on, so therefore, it's a project I'm updating you on. Okay, the second project that I worked on, so basically when I realized that this was not turning out how I wanted it to, I wanted to change the hook size, I wanted to change the color order, I started another project in the Little Wolf Knits yarn, which is my ranunculus. Oh, this color is so pretty. I've kind of made a mess of the yarn, apparently. Actually, yes, I forgot how much of a mess this was, because a few days ago this hurt my feelings and I put it to the side. And I'm just going to tell you right now. Okay, so like, I'm going to hold your hand while I tell you this. Okay? I'm sorry about what I'm about to say. I'm frogging this. I will restart it. So, I know you gasped, but then, self-soothe with the knowledge that I will restart it. But here's what I did. In the pattern for the ranunculus, there are 2 neckline cast-on options. I opted for the wider neckline option, but I didn't really want it to be wider. So instead of using the size needle that the pattern calls for, starting the collar with, I went 2 needle sizes down and I started the collar, which was great, fine. Got through the yoke, loved it. Got through the raglan increases almost. I had like maybe 4 rows more raglan increases. And I decided I'm going to try it on, because the nice thing about the ranunculus is you don't have to swatch. Every single size starts the same. It's only after the circular yoke increases, when you get to the raglan increases, that there's differences between the sizes. So after I finished the circular yoke, I put it on extension cords and I tried it on, and it did not fit over my head easily. Here's a picture of it placed on my head without it being on my body correctly. I could get it over my head. I could get my head through the neck hole, but I had to take my glasses off. It was not comfortable. Even sitting on my neck, it was not comfortable, even after I had gotten it on. So I figured it would not block out, because it was just too tight and I didn't want to risk it. And basically, the whole point of this garment is to have a super wearable piece that matches the purple ranunculus seen here, which I wear all the time. So I wanted a green version that would get equally as much wear, and I knew that if I had a tight neckline, that was not going to be feasible. It just wouldn't happen. I wouldn't reach for it. I wouldn't enjoy wearing it. So I wanted to make sure that it was comfortable. So I decided I would unpick the cast on and unpick the ribbing and then pick up stitches, or like have the stitches on my needle and then knit up. So you cast on and then you knit down. So for this, I would need to have the stitches back on my needle and then knit up, which means everything would be offset by half a stitch. I don't know how to explain it better than that. I know there's a way. I know there's a way, but it escapes me. And I also know that it's going to be confusing for a lot of people what I just said, because it was confusing to me, and some necklines have gone to the knit graveyard because of me not being able to conceptualize what I just said. But after having been hurt by this, I can visualize it, that everything is half a stitch off. But if you haven't been hurt by this, you might be like, what? Just stay confused. Don't go down this trail. Don't try and learn. It will hurt you. Okay? But if you've been hurt, or you have an incredibly wonderful conceptual brain, then you know what I'm talking about. So, or I don't know, maybe a normal brain. I'm not, no brain is a bad brain, okay? I just couldn't understand it until I messed up a few sweaters. Okay. So, anyway, I thought this time would be different. I thought I would be able to rise to the occasion. I thought, I've made this mistake before. I know what to do now. It's going to be fine. It's going to be great. I can troubleshoot. I am so smart and brave and beautiful, and it will be fine. Listen, it wasn't fine. Basically, I got all this. I got all the stitches. I unpicked the whole collar ribbing, and I got all the stitches on the needles. There were no stitches dropped. No love lost here. But because, hopefully you can see this, because the first row after the collar on the ranunculus has lifted increases, basically this made for a row of eyelets along the base of my new knitting, which is now knitting up. So I thought long and hard about this, and I decided that I didn't like the look of this, like basically row of eyelets. See these? At the bottom of the ribbing. There's only a row or two of ribbing, so you can't really see the collar because it doesn't exist anymore. But I just didn't like the look of these eyelets, and I wouldn't want them on the finished piece. So I did not frog it yet because I wanted to show you my progress. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, so I hope this doesn't. I know some people get so invested in the projects people show online and get so up in arms when YouTubers or content creators or whatever, just whatever, they make a choice for their project that you as the viewer personally wouldn't make. Listen, I understand these deep feelings. I understand. But also, it's my time, it's my garment, it's what I'm doing. You have to be okay with that. So I will be frogging this, okay? Frogging it away. I'll probably use my yarn winder to do most of the work for me. And then when I have grieved and I have self-soothed enough that I'm ready to try loving again, I will cast on the ranunculus again. Now, like I said, I'm making this because I want a match of the purple short sleeve ranunculus that I have. And wouldn't you know it, I did the same thing, sort of, the first time I made the purple ranunculus. I got 10 millimeter, or no, I got size 10, 6 millimeter confused with size 6. So I knit the whole yoke of my first ranunculus on size 6, and it was very, very small, could not fit over my head. So really, I am just understanding the assignment and making an exact match-ish of my purple ranunculus, which I also had to start again. In fact, I had to start it over twice, if I remember correctly. So I'm just I'm just doing things the right way by doing them incorrectly at the end of the day. That's what's happening. So that's the update on my second project, which is my ranunculus. Now, after my ranunculus hurt my feelings and I needed space from it, I had the option to return to another project on my needles, and I chose my Doppio. So my Doppio, oh my goodness, this is so beautiful. I have a theory about Doppios, by the way. How do I say this? How do I word this? Everyone thinks their Doppio is the best Doppio. Everyone thinks their Doppio is the most unique, beautiful Doppio. It has so much depth. There's so much color. Like the way the colors marl is so, so beautiful. And that's true. But also to other people from far away, your Doppio just looks like a gray Doppio or a green Doppio or a red Doppio or a blue Doppio or a pink Doppio, whatever. Like you are the person who is fully appreciating the depth and the nuance of your yarn combinations for your Doppio. And I think that's how it should be, because you're the one wearing it, you're the one looking at it up close, you're the one enjoying the process of making it. But from far away, a blue Doppio is a blue Doppio, a green Doppio is a green Doppio, etc. in perpetuity. I will say there are some exceptions. There are some Doppios that live rent-free in my brain. Kate of Red Door Fiber Studio, she made a Doppio, or at least swatched a Doppio, like probably over a year ago. That was so beautiful. It was like jewel toned, really, really beautiful. Also, Alicia of Celtic Unicorn Knits. Oops. Her Doppio has like a ambery brown color underneath a green fuzzy. So it's like almost like a glowing patina type of Doppio. Those are beautiful Doppios. I love them. I think those are very unique, very special Doppios. The rest, for me, they're just another Doppio, and I think that's okay. I hope that's okay. And I think that you might agree. To you, from far away, this is just a dang old green Doppio. But from up close, ooh, look at this. I'm very in love with this. This is Treehouse, The Stories That Really Mattered, and on Dove DK, and Clockwork Fiber Co. green #2 on Chime Surrey. So the green on this Surrey is really just so beautiful. I love it so much. I hope I always get stressed out that I communicate poorly. I'm not trying to say your Doppio is ugly. I'm just trying to say no one is going to appreciate the depth and nuance of your Doppio like you are. Okay, so what I'm saying is I recognize you may look at this and think, that's just a green Doppio, Rachel. Big flip-flapping deal. But I look at this and I think, this Doppio gets an A on all its assignments. This Doppio invites kids on the outskirts of the playground to join in at tag. This Doppio pushes their chair in when they get up. Like, this Doppio can do no wrong. But to other people, they're just like, yeah, it's a Doppio. Cool. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay? Anyway, here's my Doppio. It has a collar now. All that to say, I was updating you. I added the collar. So there. And then now that means that I am continuing to knit on the body. I will probably not knit the body all the way because I want to knit the sleeves and try it on and determine the length based on the finished sleeves, because that kind of cinches up the fabric and it can impact how the garment lays or lies. Lays or lies. I think it's, let me check. Okay, so it should be lies because that is like indicating a position of rest, like it's just there, whereas lays is like to lay something down. Here's a little trick that I used to keep in my mind, which is actually incorrect. I would say lay is like to, like that's how you remember it, and then lie is everything else, but that's just incorrect. So anyway, don't remember that. But also, as we've discussed, these rules don't really matter. The point of language is to communicate, and if whether or not I said lay or lie, you know that I'm talking about fabric hanging off of my body. Okay? All right. So there's the progress on my doppio. That's all that I knit and crocheted this week, if I am remembering correctly. I do believe I am. So that brings us to spin diary. I did a lot of spinning this week. In fact, I think to the point where I did too much spinning this week because by Friday, I didn't spin. I didn't prep a braid of fiber. Saturday came, I didn't spin. I didn't prep any fiber. Then Sunday came, I did not spin and I did not prep any fiber. So now today's Monday and I do plan to prep some fiber and spin it today, which I'm very excited about. So I'm glad that I kind of stopped and took stock and I was like, Rachel, you wanted to have fun during Tour de Fleece. Slow down. Going so fast isn't necessarily that fun. Like, you're not doing it for fun. You're doing it to try and output as much yarn as possible. And that's not the point. That's not what we set out to do, self. So I have slowed down. But here's what I made before I did slow down. I have uh, two completed spins, technically three because this spin took two braids. This spin is one braid plied on itself. So we'll talk about this spin first. This is from American Rambouillet Fiber from Little Fiber Co. And it is a combo spin of Gleam and Incandescent. Incandescent is a really nice light pastel purple, and Gleam is like almost, I don't know, if pastel and neon had a baby, that would be Gleam. So I spun each of those braids into a single and then I plied them together into a 2-ply yarn. I'm thinking these would make a really nice garter stitch shawl. I'm probably going to make either the Sophie shawl or the Simple Thing. They're very similar. I've made a few of the Simple Thing before, and I've made one Sophie scarf, and I prefer the beginning method of the Sophie scarf over the Simple Thing. So I may just do that beginning and then do the Simple Thing. Really, they're one for one. The Simple Thing is a free pattern though. It's basically a dupe of the Sophie shawl slash scarf, but it does have a different start, which for me, every time I try it, it kind of breaks my brain a little. So, but anyway, one of those options with essentially the same end result, I think would be very, very, very beautiful with this spin. And I should have around 200 grams. I haven't measured or weighed it, but I think around 200 grams of a DK weight-ish. So I think that will be really nice. And then the next spin that I did is a braid of Polworth from Long Dog Yarn. This is Rio Grande del Norte, or Rio Grande del Norte. I tried to listen to the pronunciation and there were a lot of different things. Like there was a Portuguese pronunciation, there was a Mexican pronunciation, there was a US pronunciation, and whoop, there's a fly in here. Caught me off guard. Anyway, I'm not sure which one they say in New Mexico, which is the inspiration behind this fiber, now yarn. This is from Brandy's Yarn of Enchantment collection, but it's a beautiful blend of greens and kind of blue greens as well and browns. And I tried to do a fractal spin, or like halfway through I realized this is kind of a fractal spin, like based on how I'm prepping the fiber. So for my next spin with lots of color, I want to try more intentional fractal pre-drafting to see where that gets me for the finished yarn. But that's what I spun. So that's it for Spin Diary. Let's move on to acquisitions. I have a lot of acquisitions this episode, but I know sometimes people don't like acquisitions. I also know some people love acquisitions because I know you're all nosy and you want to see what is coming in the mail. I will tell you, for those of you who don't care for acquisitions, these are mostly things I've purchased myself. So I know that's important to you sometimes to, you know, be reminded of that. These aren't just things, you know, I'm getting for free or whatever. I'm buying them. There are some freebies though. So, but it's a really, really exciting one. And I think you'll be happy for me. So the first acquisition is a bag of fiber and some yarn. Hold on, let me grab it. Okay, so these are from Sam of Clockwork Fiber Co. First, I'm going to tell you about the yarn. I got 3 skeins of this green number 1 on Chime Surrey. You may remember me talking about green number 2, which is what I'm using on my Doppio. I originally was holding this with Sam's Hunter colorway for a Felix cardigan. In fact, I have my failed project right here. I abandoned this project because the Surrey was darker than the, can you see? Is it focusing? The Surrey was darker than the wool. So it made like this slight marling effect with the fabric, which isn't what I was wanting. So instead, I used green number 2 for my Doppio. But I'm pretty sure that I hit the jackpot with green number 1. I haven't yet swatched. Let me grab a skein of Hunter, actually, and show you so you can be the judge. But I think that this new green is going to be just perfect to match with Hunter for the Felix, which I haven't given up on despite a failed first attempt. Okay, so here's a skein of Hunter, and here we have the green I just recently purchased. I think that's going to be so perfect for a Felix. And just to compare, here's green number, what was this? 2. So here's green 2, too dark for Hunter. Green 1, perfect match. Well, green 1 may still be a little dark, but I think not so much that it will have the contrast issue that made it so I didn't like the last combo. So I got those, and then I also got some fiber. I have been itching to get Shanico wool back on my wheel. The last time I spun it was last summer with Shanico fiber from Cat and Penny Strickland from Cesium Yarn, and I just loved the experience of spinning Shanico silk or Shanico fiber. So I got some more Shanico. This is analog fiber from Sam of Clockwork Fiber Co. These I think are just one of a kind braids, like, well, 2 of a kind from the same batch. And then this is Shanico silk. So it's 80% non-superwash Shanico wool and 20% Shanico silk. I thought these would be very beautiful to ply together. Gorgeous. So those came in the mail. Very, very happy with this. Where is this fly coming from? Get out of here, bub. Anyway, so that is one acquisition. Another acquisition is yarn from Leslie of Nick, California. It's not in here. Let me go grab it. Okay, here it is. So this is not all of them, it's just 2. There's 7 of these, if I remember correctly. My first full skeins of Explorer Knits and Fibers. So excited to knit with these. Leslie was offloading a sweater quantity of fur on the, what base is this? The Earthy DK base, which is 100% non-superwash merino, 246 yards per 100 grams. I'm really excited. As you know, I'm in my green phase, so I think this will be a gorgeous, gorgeous sweater. What should I make with this? My first thought is a Midland, but I already have yarn for that. I could switch like what that yarn is for, but I would love a nice cozy sweater, whether it's a pullover or a cardigan. I do know that this base pills a lot, so maybe something that is like good for pill management. What's best for that? Stockinette, cables, garter? I don't know. But yeah, if you have recommendations for a sweater quantity of this beautiful green, let me know. That's that acquisition. And then the next acquisition is super exciting, and this is the one that was gifted to me. So, Kromski, let's see if I can tell you or show you this without totally ruining my setup. Oh, look what Kromski sent me. A 16-inch Presto loom in the color lavender, which, if you don't know, is a purple. I haven't left my purple phase, folks. Even though I'm loving the green, I haven't left purple. And let me tell you, this was really confusing to set up, particularly these strings. I think they're called apron strings, but I don't know for sure because I was hitting a wall with my motivation and research was not coming easily. But it's a rigid heddle loom, and I'm very excited to learn more about weaving on it. So I'm going to take the next few weeks to get to know the loom, get to know the weaving process, see how I like it, see what I can make, and then I would love to use this as like research before I invest in a shafted table loom. I got to play with the shafted table loom at Radical Weavers in Stirling, Scotland over the summer. 2 times I had a workshop there, both for Scotland 1 and Scotland 2, the knitting tours I most recently hosted. Oh my gosh, a shafted table loom is so fun to work with. So fun to weave. So I really want one. I really, really want one. But I wanted to like start with baby steps and see how I liked having a rigid heddle because I I really enjoyed my time playing with the shafted table loom. However, it was all set up for me. Like it was warped. I didn't have to do anything to it. I could just sit down and start weaving. So I need to like practice warping a loom. I know it will probably be different on a rigid heddle, but it's better than nothing in getting acquainted with weaving. So basically my goal for this is to test the waters, kind of build some foundational knowledge, and then if I decide that it's still something that I want to dive into, then I can invest in the shafted table loom that I really, really, really want. So that's the plan, but thank you so much to Kromski for sending me the loom. If you all remember, if you've been here for a while, you know that Kromski also gifted me my spinning wheel, Spinelli. So the only reason I'm able to spin all this beautiful yarn, or at least I think it's beautiful, it brings me a lot of joy, is because of the partnership that I have with Kromski. So I don't have an affiliate link. I don't have anything like that. But I just have the endless and priceless joy of the things that I've created because of these partnerships, and I'm hoping that that will also be true of this Presto loom. So stay tuned. I'm very excited to walk you through my journey of becoming a weaver. Rachel is weaving. Okay, and then last but not least, let me show you my final acquisition of the week. I'm over here. I'm back here. Do you see me? Hello, I'm in my new craft room chair and I love it. It's from Costco. It is so nice. It's a rocking chair. It has power recline, if I can remember where the button is. Here it is. Power recline. So the footrest is now going up. Woo! And the backrest is now going back. Woo! See you later. I love it. So I got this from Costco. If you're not from the US or a place with Costco, I know Costco is outside the US because when I lived in the UK, there was a Costco on my bus route into uni. But anyway, I got it at Costco, which is like a wholesale retailer warehouse store. Great deals. You buy in bulk. Obviously, I didn't buy this chair in bulk, but you can get furniture and stuff there. And I got this chair and I'm so glad that I did. I have been looking for a good addition to my craft room. The chair that I had back there was from IKEA and I just didn't feel safe in it. I was way over the weight limit. I just didn't feel like it was the right fit. I couldn't get cozy. I couldn't get comfy. I couldn't have long knitting sessions in it. But that chair back there is a game changer. And also Darby loves it. She's not up there now. I don't know why. She's on the ground here next to me. Maybe the why is because she's obsessed with me, but she's been hanging out in the chair since I got it yesterday and has really enjoyed it. So 5 stars. So happy with that. So happy with that. very, very pleased. But that's it for acquisitions, a very, very exciting group of hauls. So that leaves us with the final section of the podcast, which is announcements. And I have 3 for you. The first is that Tour de Fleece is still going. I mentioned that I haven't spun for the last few days, but I'm going to start spinning today and get back on the horse. If you want to see what I got up to in the first full week of Tour de Fleece, you can check out my Tour de Fleece playlist. I'm kind of sort of vlogging through Tour de Fleece. And then let me know what you think. I'm having a really good time. I'm really proud of that Tour de Fleece week 1 video, by the way. I don't know. I'm just really proud of it. The songs I used, I really am happy with. How I edited it, I'm really happy with. So go check it out if you want, because I'm really, really proud of it. And the second announcement is Scotland recaps are still happening. They're still coming, but they take so long to make. Each video takes like 10 hours to edit. And I don't know if that's because I'm just garbage at editing. I don't think that is it though, because I used to be a videographer. You don't know this about me, I don't believe, but like that was one of the many odd jobs I've had. So like, it's not like I don't know what I'm doing. It's not like efficiency doesn't exist in my home, but they just take a long time. So days 6, 7, and 8 are coming. Be patient. You will see them at some point in time. The third and final announcement is that I still have some room on various 2026 knitting tours. So between the Knit the Wild Atlantic Way tour from May 11th through 20th, the Copenhagen tour from September 1st through 8th, and the Irish Knitting Tour from October 5th through 14th. I can't believe I remembered all those dates. But between those 3 tours, I do have a handful of spots left. Most room is on the Irish Knitting Tour. We're almost halfway full for that tour. It's in October next year. It's an autumn time in Ireland. It's so crisp. It's so beautiful. It's so wonderful. It's so chilly and delightful. I cannot wait. I'm so excited to beat the heat, escape this weather. If you are sweating, did you see the fly just then? You saw it, right? It's in here. Anyway, if you are also wanting to escape the heat, I hit my mouse when I was trying to kill the fly. Now my computer monitor is up. I haven't just been, touched by the light of heaven. I need to not make pots of coffee before I film a podcast, and that's final. But the point is, if you want to invest in your autumnal bliss for next year, you're sweating, you're stinky, you're sick of the humidity, and you want to believe that a better world exists, I have good news for you. It does exist next year in Ireland in October. Come with me. So that's it for announcements. We went over project updates. We went over spin diary. We went over acquisitions. I'm going to go drink a big bucket of water to dilute this caffeine coursing through my veins. But that's all I have to tell you. So I hope you're doing well. I hope you're working on a project that you enjoy. I hope that you come back next week to watch what I've been up to. So here's your reminder. Like this video, subscribe to my channel if you don't already, and hit that notification bell to be notified of my next upload. And last but not least, head over to Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok and follow me at Rachel is Knitting if you don't already. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.